I decided, okay, I can do this. I can totally do this. Here. So welcome back to another episode of me trying to figure this stuff out. Yeah. In my last video, I'll recap. If you haven't watched it, you can if you want to. Really, the whole point of all of this, especially the last video, is if you do a bunch of work, like I mentioned my activity log, where I track everything I'm doing, and how I said like my work is driven by my goals. That's the whole point. Basically, if you do a bunch of work without any goals associated with them, you're just wasting your time. And then secondly, goals that don't have deadlines is just you being lazy and procrastinating. And then your dreams, if they don't have goals, it's just wishful thinking. A lot of people say, oh yeah, I'm going to start a business, but then they don't plan and they don't have any deadlines to their goals. So it's just like, oh yeah, eventually I will. I've been guilty of that, I'm not going to lie. But just putting it out there. This video, what is this video about? Basically, going into this, and if you're not familiar with my background, again, you can check out my Swift with Shawnee videos, where basically I talk about everything that has to do with the Swift programming language. The thing is that the whole goal of that was to, develop an app, which I did develop some apps, but I just wasn't passionate about these apps that I built. A lot of times I built them because I wanted to learn some aspect of Swift, or like a library that I was fascinated about. But nothing led to me releasing an application. Mainly, I would think it was a good idea when I started, and it just eventually never really was something I wanted to sort of pursue or even keep up once I did release it. So, yeah. So I had a lot of false starts. And if you've had false starts, it's okay. But don't dwell on it, just keep going at it, because eventually you're going to find something that really resonates with you, which brings me to my talking points. When I read the second chapter of the Personal MBA, all right, he talks about what it takes to start a business, or what a business requires. And that was super helpful to me. I believe I mentioned it probably in the first video, but I decided to break it down for you, what I got out of it. Take it or leave it. Hopefully it helps you out. But again, I'm completely clueless at this business stuff, so I'm just trying everything to try to understand it. So basically, the 5 things a business requires is 1, an idea. 2, passion. 3, research. 4, a customer or customers, hopefully. And then 5, narrowing down. I don't know if it's 5. Give me a second. Where did I get these points from? An idea? So somewhere, I was going to try to give you the reference, but I can't remember exactly where I got these from. But basically, starting a business requires, a couple different things. And again, if I remember where I got these from, I will put them down below. But for some reason, I didn't write down where I got this. So first of all, you need an idea, something that somebody wants or needs. And for me, starting this app it came out of a need that I didn't realize at first. It was actually my sister's need. I have a niece. She's pretty young, and I went to my sister and asked her, like, okay, what should I get for her birthday? Because I was completely clueless. I mean, kids change their mind about different toys they like. My sister's like, oh, well, she has enough toys. She does not need any more toys. She doesn't need any more video games or anything like that. She's like, if you can find me some like math workbooks so that she can work through, that'd be like helpful. So I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be easy to. No. I searched online on Amazon, I searched at Office Depot and Office Max, and then I tried to go to a store that I remember seeing in town that sold materials for teachers and parents who homeschool or want to, get learning materials for their kids or their student, or like teachers for their students. Anyways, I went there. They were shut down. Like, they shuttered their doors. I was like, what? So I'm like, well, there has to be an app. There must be an app out there. So I went, on the App Store, thinking, well, if I could find like a workbook sheet thingy online, then I could just buy her, like an App Store gift card, and then she can buy it for my niece, right? And so I go on there, and the apps there only went up to arithmetic. All right. Now, my niece is kind of a little bit of a math savant. My sister calls her human calculator. So I knew that I had to find something that would challenge her and maybe teach her some, different aspects of math that she wasn't, learning in school just yet. And so the only thing on the app's website or the App Store, the only thing on the App Store was workbooks or worksheet generators that only went up to basic arithmetic. So I decided, okay, I can do this. I can totally do this. So I contacted my aunt, who is a middle school teacher, and I asked her, where do you go for worksheets, to help you supplement, your class? And she's like, they're hard to find. I was like, what? I'm like, why? She's like, well, a lot of the companies have shut down, or they were bought out by some of the big names, which I'm not going to name. There's like literally only barely a handful of companies out there that produce this type of material. And she's like, half the time I just create my own. I was like, well, what if you had an app that helped you create this stuff? She's like, I would buy it in a heartbeat. I was like, really? She's like, yeah, totally. So I was like, okay, great. I just kind of figured out that there is a need for it. Now, mind you, I've only asked 2 people, a parent and a teacher, whether this would actually work, or if it was something that they would buy and use, and they both said yes. And being that I did go online and check out, I did do some research that kind of helped me make my decision. So my idea is good enough. 2 is passion. And for me, again, I love coding, obviously. I do find it fun. It's my hobby. It has been my hobby for a while. But now I feel like I have like a purpose, like a reason to actually use it. And with my skills that I learned by creating the Swift series, and then also with my current position, or my current job, I'm in publishing. The skills that I've learned there, I can apply to this app. I can marry a lot of stuff that I learned about creating documents and a lot of the technical things that you need to know to actually create a printed document as well as PDFs. I can bring that in to what I do. And then I want to help people learn. Obviously, it's what I like doing. I do this for fun. I'm actually not getting paid for it because I like it. And I want to help my niece get better at math because math is a passion of mine. So much so that I actually created a open source math curriculum. If you want to see that, it's on my GitHub page. I'll put a link down below, or you might see it pop up here somewhere, probably down below. If you're interested, basically, I just found a bunch of open source courses and materials that you can find online for free or at a reasonably low price, and it helps people, learn basically a math degree up to the third term of college. So if you're interested, take a look. I did that actually 2 years ago because I love math and I wanted to brush up on some of my math. And actually it's going to help me with this project because I actually have to create some logic that actually solves these math problems as they're being put into the app, which should be fun. Anyways, so if you want to check that out, check that out. Again, this is my passion. This is marrying all the stuff that I like, stuff that I've learned, into one awesome passion project. 3, research. I mentioned a little bit before. I did do some research. I did go online to see if there was, worksheet, workbook, math workbook resources out there, and there are. And I think there's some that are online, like websites, but they're really old looking and haven't updated in a while. There's one in particular I remember that had up to, I believe, trigonometry, which is pretty awesome. I do plan on eventually getting up to that point. Are a handful, I want to say 3 or 4, but again, they don't go above arithmetic. That's where they cut it off, is arithmetic. So there is some possibility of doing this and doing it right. So I'm super excited about that. Again, my customer, that's one thing I had a hard time with one app that I was thinking about actually releasing, is I had to narrow down my customer. Now, and this is for anyone, it doesn't matter if you want to release an app or you want to provide a service or a product, you need to define who your customer is and keep it at one customer. Because the thing is I learned this from a friend of mine who's in marketing. She's a copywriter, and she told me when I first started thinking about creating an application and starting a business and stuff like that, she's like, well, who are your customers? And I told her everyone's my customer. She's like, no, you have to narrow it down. You're not going to narrow down the benefits that will get your customers to come in and continue buying from you and whatnot. I'm probably not saying that right. I wasn't identifying who my main customer was. So now I know who my main customer is, and that is the teacher. Now, it could be a teacher who is, who teaches at a public school or a private school, or a charter school, who wants to create workbooks or worksheets for students and make it individualized, or to fill some hole in their knowledge so that they can practice and learn math. So that is who my customer is that teacher who wants to provide really great exercises for their students. Now, on the flip side of that, which is also a teacher, is what I call parent teachers. And those are parents who are either homeschooling their children or parents who want to supplement their child's education by giving them exercises to learn or practice, math. So again, for me, my main customer is teacher. So now there's, a flavor of teachers in there, but at the same time, I know who my main customer is. So that's what I'm aiming for. So narrow, making sure that what you're offering is very specialized. And for me, how I narrowed down the features, the most important features for my app, was I talked to my customers first. And that was my aunt, who's a teacher, and then my sister, who has a daughter who she wants to help, get stronger at math and, help her succeed. So by talking to both, and especially talking to my aunt, it was really eye-opening in the sense that I understood a lot of her needs, and then also, things that annoyed her about the educational system. So, and what things were out there that weren't available. So that was really helpful and really helped me narrow down what I needed to build at this moment, exactly at this moment. so I'm not spending too much time on features that no one's going to use. So once I figured out what features were most important first, that's when I started to work out and wireframed my view controllers. And I think I mentioned this in my last video, that I keep everything in a project notebook. So I think I showed it as well, but I'm going to show it again. So here is an example of kind of something I built out. This is actually totally different now, but I created a very simple wireframe and worked out what features it needed to have, what I needed to build out in order to make it work. So plan roughly, and be open to, you know, changing your mind, because I did a huge refactor on my logic, and totally actually rebuilt one of the view controls I just showed you. I completely like deleted it and rebuilt it. So be open to changing your mind about things, but always keep in mind who your main customer is and what they want, because once you do start building, you realize, oh wait, this isn't going to provide what they need. So it keeps you on the straight and narrow in the sense. So at least it has for me, because when I did the refactor, I realized that, wait, this isn't what was this wasn't one of the features that was, you know, the feature actually needed to be more extensive actually. So I was like, okay, I have to rebuild it. So I actually refactored the logic, which took me a while to do, but it was so worth it, because I was able to clean up a lot of code that was just messy, and it's so much better now. It's so much better now. So I'm super excited about that. So I wireframed my view controllers in my notebook. Then I also started building out mock-ups, and I built out those mock-ups to kind of guide me as I built things up, as far as like how wide certain things are, how it looks. It's very loose mock-up because I haven't decided exactly on this color scheme just yet. But they're built to a point where I can add color, or I can slightly change certain things if I want to. So it's very important to plan things out first before you start coding. Talking to those who are coding and want to build an app, definitely, please, if you are going to do this and provide yourself less headaches, is to plan out your work before you actually start working on it. Okay? If you want to take anything out of what I'm saying, do that first. Plan stuff out first, all right? All right, so I've already started coding this. I'm not done yet, but I do plan on, you know, finishing this up. A little bit into marketing. I actually have to start marketing this app now, because I don't have a really big user base just yet. I was looking online, I was trying to find information about how to market your product or service if you have no followers, or you have no user base, or like you don't have anybody to really sell it to yet. And what I gleaned from that was that you need to start marketing as soon as possible, even if you don't have your product available just yet, which is scary because it's not ready. But I need to start getting interest now. So yeah, because basically it's twofold. I need to reach out to more teachers, or parent teachers as I like to call them, that will be interested in, one, narrowing down some of the features, or adding some that they might find to be useful. And then I need testers. So I need them to test, and you know, my app, I needed them to test the beta so that I can work out the kinks before I actually release it. And then third, I need early adopters. I need people interested, because you know, you gotta want to make money, just a tad. All right. So in my next video, I'll discuss what I'm doing to basically create buzz. So in my next video, I'll cover what steps I'm taking to create some pre-launch buzz, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, so thank you so much for watching my video. Hopefully it helped you out, or maybe you might find it a little entertaining, don't know. But anyways, I hope that I will see you next time. Till then, bye.